I ain't tryna be stubborn, but I can use some self-loving. Ain't gotta say nothing. They already know how I'm coming. I've been working on me. I've been loving on me. I had to learn to love myself. And no, I don't mind no help. I'd rather do it myself. No, I don't mind no help. I'd rather do it myself. I've been working on me. I've been loving on me. I had to learn to love myself. I ain't tryna be stubborn, but I can use some self-loving. Ain't gotta say nothing. They already know how I'm coming. I've been working on me. I've been loving on me. I had to learn to love myself. And no, I don't mind no help. I'd rather do it myself. No, I don't mind no help. I'd rather do it myself. I've been working on me. I've been loving on me. I had to learn to love myself.
Well, good morning. Let me add myself. So, good morning. Let's see. Good morning to Instagram here, and then I have Facebook, and then my YouTube is connected. Good morning. I'm just grateful this morning, and I'm really ready to hop into this topic, this discussion, because I've been having breakthrough moments. Hey, sis, Quintez. Hey, Whitney. And I see my girl, Jazz. Hey, Maya. Good morning. Thank you for all the love. Good morning. Good morning. Come on in. So we're about to hop into this topic about I've been going on a journey, and I feel like it's only right to bring my people in on my journey too. So, excuse me as I situate something. So, bring my people in on my journey. And today we're talking about core beliefs and how they impact us. Excuse me one moment. I do not want this to die on y'all. So one moment. I am so sorry. All right. So yeah, we're talking about core beliefs and how they impact us as individuals. And the funny thing is, a lot of us don't even realize that we have core beliefs going on. Okay, so let's hop into it. All right, get y'all over here. Get y'all stabilized. All right. We about to get going, I promise. All right. So good morning again. Thank you for joining me. This is a discussion about core beliefs, and I have visuals for my people who are on Facebook, but Instagram, thank you for rocking with me on this morning. So let's get started. This is the itinerary or today's flow. We're going to talk about who I am because I've been gone for a minute when I first had the creative process, and then I've been gone for a minute, right? But I've been rebuilding, rebranding, everything. That's the story of my life, right now. So We're going to talk about who I am briefly, and then we're going to talk about what our core beliefs, how do they impact our lives. I'm going to talk about my core belief story. And listen, ladies and gent, I had a whole moment last week regarding really discovering a core belief that I didn't even realize was there. And then lastly, how to deal with core beliefs, because I'm not just here to talk about problems, I'm here to talk about solutions too. So let's roll into it. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Angela Beasley, MAPLPC, right? But that's not the only part of who I am, but it's a facet of who I am. So allow me to reintroduce myself. I am Angela Beasley. I attained my master's degree in clinical mental health counseling last year, 2022. Your girl mastered it. Woohoo! And I graduated from Holy Cross. I currently work as an addictions counselor. It's been officially a year and 5 months that I've been doing this, and I love it. And I feel like I am in my purpose. I always felt as if I were a counselor, just without the letters, without the titles. I've always been a sensitive, empathic, intuitive, highly emotionally intelligent individual, and I've always been easy to talk to. So that's why I always felt like I was a counselor. There are countless times where people would just come and talk about their whole life, and I'm like, at first I was caught off guard, right? But I felt like it was a part of my purpose. So I rolled with it, and eventually I got the credentials to show it and to prove it. And then again, I feel like I'm finally in my purpose, but I am not limited to these letters. Do not limit me. Do not box me in. I am a creative. I sing, I songwrite. I need to do that more. I'm multifaceted. So these days I don't want to be boxed in. I hate the thought of being boxed into any letters, any title, etc. Okay, so that's a little bit about me. Thank you for letting me reintroduce myself. Now let's roll on. So what are core beliefs? Let's get into it. So core beliefs come from a model of therapy called CBT, or cognitive behavioral therapy. And it is a form of psychological treatment that has been demonstrated to be effective for a range of problems, including depression, anxiety disorders, alcohol and drugs use problems. I use this a lot with my clients, my patients. Marital problems, eating problems or disorders, and other severe mental illnesses. Core beliefs, the actual definition is core beliefs are our most deeply held assumptions about ourselves, the world, and others. They are firmly embedded in our thinking and significantly shape our reality and behaviors. In fact, nothing matters more than our core beliefs. And I truly believe that. So the way that I discuss it or describe it to my patients they are the lenses of our lives. And I'm going to put this back up. If you look at the screen right now, you'll see a little eyeglasses, right? And the way I look at core beliefs and other, I'm sure, clients or even counselors look at it, are the lenses that we put on and the way we view life, right? So if you are a person who wears eyeglasses or contacts or uses assistance to see clearly, you'll get this analogy right off the bat. So imagine going through life and you put these glasses on, the glasses of I'm not good enough, I'm ugly, I do not deserve whatever, fill in the blank, right? Because core beliefs can be positive or negative. Today I'm talking about negative core beliefs. So imagine going through life and you put these glasses on, and everything you perceive, everything you see, everything you experience, everything you think, the way you act, the way you believe, It's based upon the lenses that you have put on, right? And listen, we're going to talk about how they form. How do core beliefs form? Because they come from somewhere, but they are the lenses of our lives. Now, briefly, before I move forward, I want to show you this cognitive triangle here, right? So, the cognitive triangle is based in CBT that I just talked about, and it is from a guy named Beck. He is a therapist, etc. And at the top of the triangle, and again, I have visuals on Facebook, my good people, but at the top of the triangle, we have thoughts and beliefs. And that's where our cognitive triangle begins, at the top with the thoughts and the beliefs. And then our thoughts and beliefs lead to our emotions and our feelings. And then our emotions and feelings lead to behaviors and actions. And it is a constant cycle. It is a constant cycle until you learn how to break that cycle. Okay. And again, we're talking about negative core beliefs. So, how do core beliefs form? So, oftentimes, 9 times out of 10, when I'm talking to a patient, when we're digging through their biopsychosocial, meaning their background, their story, you find that some kind of trauma, something happened in childhood that formed and shifted how they see the world, themselves, and others. And then that impacted their thoughts, right? Then that leads to emotions or feelings. And then that leads to behaviors and actions. And again, it is a constant cycle. Okay. So let's go deeper, right? Core beliefs. This core belief scenario I have here is very basic, but take it for what it is because you can apply it to your own life. So, situation, okay? Two people with two different core beliefs can go through the same situation. One person can have a positive core belief about themselves. One person can have a negative core belief about themselves. And the way that they view or a perspective or a scenario is astounding. So let's look at this deeper. The situation is two people with different core beliefs receive a bad grade on a test. Now, person A has a negative core belief, and their core belief is, I am a failure. Now, the reaction, because I talked about thoughts, feelings, and behavior, the reaction or the thought rather is, of course I failed. Why bother? That thought leads to a feeling, which is depressed. And then the behavior ensues, which is, I'm not going to make any changes because I'm a failure. So you see how this cycle goes around and around. And then when the situation comes back or another situation occurs, that person with that negative core belief is going to go into it having negative thoughts, negative feelings, and negative behaviors. And it's a cycle. Okay. But then now let's look at person B, who has positive core beliefs, right? And it says, or the core belief is, I am perfectly capable when I give my best effort. Now, the thought from that, because that person made a bad grade on this test too now, right? But the thought is, I did poorly because I didn't prepare. And then the feeling is disappointed. And then the behavior plans to study before the next test. You see? I hope you see. I hope I am demonstrating the importance and the impact of core beliefs and the way we move through life, right? Core beliefs can keep us stagnant, stuck, in cycles, as I keep saying. Okay. So let's move forward. We're doing good on time. Let's go deeper. How do core beliefs impact our lives? So even if a core belief is inaccurate, oftentimes it is, it still shapes how a person sees the world, others, and themselves. Harmful core beliefs lead to negative thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, whereas rational core beliefs lead to balanced reactions. Now, core beliefs, I believe the list is endless, and I don't have time to go through every single impact, but let's go through some of the most common forms of impacts from core beliefs. So it definitely impacts your self-esteem, low self-esteem. Sometimes it creates anxiety. Interpersonal issues, so things happening within, things that are not on the surface. Depression, trust issues with others. I mean, if I have a negative core belief and I don't love myself, then it's going to lead to trust issues with others and impact my relationships and how I view the world and how I view others, and even how I view myself. Relationship issues, which is connected to trust issues. Feelings of inadequacy, that I am not enough. It even can lead to substance abuse or abuse because, listen, if I don't feel good enough, I may want to numb this pain. And that's not always the issue with everyone, right? That's not the reason why everybody, some people become addicted or addicts, but it's a way to deal with those core beliefs, right? Difficulty handling stress. Oh, I put low self-esteem again. I guess I needed to re-emphasize that, right? Mistreatment by others. What I mean by that is you receive or you allow people to treat you less than. Well-being disrupted, your peace is disrupted. Cognitive distortions, aka stinking thinking, right? Excessive defense mechanisms. So you may go through life trying to protect yourself and you don't even have to, but it leads back to those relationship issues and even trust issues. You see how it's all connected? Making bad decisions, fear, and negative cycles, as I keep stating. So let's go. So let's talk about this. My core belief story. And this is a moment of healing and breakthrough that I had last week that really led me to want to talk about core beliefs, right? I am a counselor and I help people heal, right? But at the same time, I am a human being. That's why I said, don't confine me to those letters, right? And I'm a real human being and I'm transparent. And I've had my struggles, I've had my traumas, I've had my own things that I've had to work through and still am working through, right? So I had a moment last week that was a breakthrough, pivotal moment where I identified my own core belief. And it led to such a beautiful healing moment that I want to share with you because guess what? I want you to possibly explore your own core beliefs, get to the root of your own issues and find that healing and that freedom. Okay. And thank y'all for coming in. I'm sorry I may not see the comments or whatever because I'm trying to stay focused and get in and get out in a timely fashion. So my core belief story, right? I've experienced so many things in my life and that story will come soon. But I had a moment where I found out that one of my core beliefs is I'm unlovable. As much love as I show to others, as much as I'm always caring about the well-being of others, I've dedicated my life work is to take care of others, to help them heal. I found out one of my core beliefs is I'm unlovable. Okay, so lately I've been doing the work to shift my trajectory. I want to have healthy, sustainable relationships. I want to settle down. I want to have a family. I've already attained the degrees. I feel like I've attained some kind of success in my life and some stability. Ambition wise, I've done the whole chasing careers, chasing the music industry. Well, I don't want to say chasing, but following passion. Okay. And now I have this degree. I'm working in my passion. So now I kind of feel like I've accomplished a lot of things that I wanted to accomplish. And I want to move on to the next phase of my life. So I've been shifting things that I listen to, especially music, because sometimes we can block things, right? We can block things with the things that we hear, the things that we ingest, the things that we constantly are consuming. So I've been shifting my energy, not in a new age way, but shifting my energy. And I've been listening to more love songs. I do affirmations in the morning. Lately, I've been walking in the morning, and that's really been helping me to be my best self and to show up for others. Right. So I've been doing some work. I've been implementing self-care and self-love. Okay. And I've been listening to a lot of love songs. And I like Kim. I like old school music, but I've been listening to Kim, and I found myself like last week sitting in my office right here where I am, and I was listening to Eric Benet, I Want to Be Loved. And out of nowhere, I just began to bawl. Like I just began crying profusely. I was like, where's this coming from? Where's this coming from? I've done so much work. I've done so much healing, right? But there was another layer to myself, and I'm being very transparent right now. And I begin to just talk it out, right? And don't laugh at me, but I recorded the moment. And I used to look at people who record themselves crying as weird, but it was a transformational moment for me. And I needed to do that because I needed to go back and see the shift that happened in that moment. But as I cried and I like just really allowed myself to maybe counsel myself and get it out, I learned that one of my core beliefs is I'm unlovable. I'm unlovable. Now, where did that come from? Where did that core belief come from? As I stated earlier, core beliefs oftentimes happen or come from childhood situations, maybe trauma, traumatic events. But core beliefs, 9 times out of 10, are formed in your childhood. Or they can form when in adulthood in traumatic events or situations. Now, very briefly, I'm not going to get too deep into it, but I've experienced my own traumas. I've been sexually abused when I was a child. I didn't grow up in a home with a father. I had a single mother. She did the best she could. But see how those 3 traumatic things kind of begin to form my own core beliefs, right? I don't know when, but at some point in time, when I realized that I didn't have a father in the home, I made it about me. And that's oftentimes children will do that, right? So I was like, well, what's wrong with me that my father isn't here? What's wrong with me that he doesn't love me? What's wrong with me that he isn't around? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? So that core belief began to form of I'm unlovable. I don't deserve A, B, and C. I can't be loved, right? So just to get off of that, my core belief formed when I was a child. So moving on to last week when I was listening to I Want to Be Loved by Eric Benet, and I was talking through it and I got to the root of it, right? I then, after I discovered it, I uprooted it, I talked about it, I found awareness and discovery, I then began to speak against it. I then began to encourage myself. I then began to dispel the lie, right? And oftentimes people don't know that they have these core beliefs, don't know that they're moving in ways, right? I've been in situations that have been dishonorable, that have not honored me. I've been on jobs that were below me, right? Or I'm not saying below me in a cocky way, but I wasn't being treated well. I've been in friendships and relationships where I wasn't being treated the best. Why? Because that was the lens that I was living life through. That I felt like I was unlovable. So therefore I began to accept certain things. I began to think certain ways. I began to behave in certain ways. And that created my own cycle until I began to learn to dispel it, right? So let's talk about this, okay? How do we tackle core beliefs? I just want to give you some practical things before we get off. Practical and biblical, because I am a balance of both, right? So, practically, one way you can do it is cognitive thought reframing. What is this? What is thought reframing? Thought reframing is a skill taught in cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. That's what we're talking about today. And it's the process of replacing negative thoughts, which can worsen things like anxiety, low self esteem, depression, and pain, with more helpful thoughts. Okay. So in that moment, when I realized that I had a core belief, which I didn't even realize was still there. So I began to reframe my thoughts immediately. I did what I knew to do, to speak against those thoughts, to tell the truth, to tell what I know, right? There's a difference between facts and truth. And I begin to dig. Okay. So that's one way. And sometimes you can do this on your own. I've been trained. I'm still learning. I'm a forever learning, a forever uh, learner in my field, right? So I'm a little skilled, but you may need someone who you can work through it with. You may need to find your own counselor, right? So then let's look at another way, challenging negative thought patterns. So again, well, I'm sorry, I did repeat, right? But challenging negative thought patterns. And if you're interested in this, I have a worksheet that you can work through that has you to write the facts, and then it has you to challenge those facts, right? Because as we see, sometimes a situation will happen and you'll look for little details or little information or messengers to reinforce your negative thinking, right? So this worksheet, if you're interested in it, hit me up via um, private messenger on Facebook or DM me and I will get the link to you. It helps you to work out those negative thought patterns and really assess it and see how ridiculous our thinking can be sometimes. Okay. Now, on the biblical front. Oh, and then positive affirmations. Because when you have a negative thought pattern, it takes you combating that thought pattern 3 times over, right? To dispel the erroneous pattern or the erroneous thinking. So even doing positive affirmations, and I do that on a daily basis. Like I have a playlist that I listen to every morning, whether I'm walking or whatever, some kind of positivity going. Okay. But now let's look at the biblical side, right? Because we are spirits, we have minds, we have souls. So let's feed ourselves practically and biblically. So, I mean, automatically I thought about Philippians 4 and 8, right? And I'm calling this change your thinking. And it says, I'm just going to read part A. It says, finally, brothers, I'm going to read the whole part. Sorry. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things. Okay. Sometimes we just have to do the work of shifting the way we think about things, right? If we find, like, I remember when I used to go to Household of Faith with Pastor Barry, he challenged us to wear like a band, a thick rubber band, or one of those bands with the sayings on it. And every time you thought a negative thought, you were challenged to pull it and pop yourself. Now that didn't hurt, right? But that's a way of restructuring your cognitive patterns, your negative thought patterns, but also going back to this, the biblical side. I mean, this is the biblical side of cognitive or thought reframing or restructuring. Thinking about good things, affirming yourself, writing down positive things, reframing your mind and your thoughts. And then the last thing is Romans 12 and 2, renew your mind. And this is the one I'm going to read part A of. So it says, do not conform to the pattern of this world, the pattern of your thoughts, the pattern of your negative experiences, I can say, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You have to do the work. If you've identified that you have core beliefs, negative core beliefs, because there are positive core beliefs, but if you've identified on today that you have negative core beliefs, you have to commit to doing the work. It's one thing to say that I have these beliefs, they're impacting my life in a certain way, they're stagnating me, A, B, and C, but you have to be committed to doing the work. And again, ways you can do the work is positive affirmations. I can send you that worksheet. Maybe you need to get with a counselor to dig deeper, right? Maybe there are layers that you don't even realize that are there. But overall, what I'm saying is you have to be committed to doing the work. Okay. So I hope today was useful. Perfect. This was 31 minutes. I hope today was useful. I think I will end this in prayer. Usually when I'm in my counselor mind, I'm not per se allowed to move in that facet, but this is my life and I can do what I want. So I will pray over those who may have cognitive distortions or negative core beliefs going on, and may God help you. And the last thing I want to add is after I dealt with that core belief of being impacted negatively, one moment, perfect, good morning. After I dealt with that negative core belief, when I tell you, I feel like a breakthrough happened and people begin to approach me more. And I'll leave it at that. I've been having people approach me. So I feel like I unclogged something or I broke through something. Okay. And we'll talk about that another time. But let's pray. Let's pray. So, dear Heavenly Father, I just want to thank you for this moment. I pray that the people who have encountered this live, whether on Instagram, Facebook, or even YouTube, live or in the future, if they have identified that they have a negative core belief, a negative core belief that is impacting their world, the way that they view themselves, the way that they view others or the world, if it's impacting their lives in any kind of way, I'm asking you to bring it to the forefront so that they have awareness of things that they need to work on, awareness of things that they need to work through and to heal. God, and I believe that you are the ultimate healer, right? And I believe that healing can come just through prayer and fasting and meditating on your word, or even getting with a trained counselor. However, the healing occurs, God, I thank you for the many modes and that you made everybody uniquely, and everybody has their own journey and everybody has their own path to walk on. But I pray for strength. I pray for the courage to deal with those things, right? Because I know personally the pain of dealing with trauma in the past. But you are faithful. You are just, you are kind, you are loving, and you want us to heal and you want us to be our best selves, God. So I pray that anybody who's dealing with the core belief that may be stopping them from living their best lives, for being their best selves, for even elevating and being promoted, right? I feel like I'm being promoted into a better version of myself. And I'm praying the same for those who are watching, who need to deal with those things. Give them the strength, give them the courage, give them the support to deal with the things that they need to deal with, to live their best lives in you. Because you want us to live the best life, the Zoe kind of life, the God kind of life. You want us to be in good health and prosper mentally, spiritually, emotionally, even as our souls prosper. So help our souls to heal, God. I thank you for using me on today. I pray that people were blessed. In the name of Jesus, I pray, amen. Your girl got balance, okay? I have balance. So again, if you want that worksheet, please let me know. I meant to create a resource list and I'm about to let you go, but there is free counseling from the last time I knew, where I was trained up as a counselor at Holy Cross. I can get that information to you too. If you need a counselor, someone to speak with. Now, you don't know what you're going to get. These are student interns, so some people may be more skilled than others. Nevertheless, it is a free resource that you can utilize and you can use to work through your own things, whether it's cognitive distortions, core beliefs, low self-esteem, depression, substance use or abuse, etc. Right? So let's use these tools. God created them. All right. All right. That's enough. That's enough. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for listening. Good morning. Thank you, Jasmine, Quintess, Whitney, Jamal, Dr. Jamal. Hey, Jessica. Good morning. Rita. Thank you for tuning in. Good morning. Oh, thank you, Jamal. The number is 504. Can I add this? Yes. The number is 504-398-2168. And that is to the counseling center. All right. And on Instagram, again, thank you, Jasmine. She hopped on both. Thank you so much for your support. Maya Renee. Thank you, Chelsea. Another Jasmine. Thank you, Marcella, Dom. Thank you, KK, Enrico, Trishelle, Elder Cell, Limited Edition, Bree, and Darren. And thank you, Dee, Dion, and Trishelle. Thank you all for tuning in. Love you so much. Congratulations again, Doc. All right, I'm going for real. Love you all. Thank you. Bye.